It's Bourbon Night. It's a hunting video. It's a challenge series. Hello, I'm Chad.
I'm Sarah.
Sarah, we've got the gumball machine of mystery here.
Right? The universe shall choose for us.
Yes.
Or the gumball machine. So I guess we'll find out what our challenge today is.
Today's quarter is brought to you by patron and Bourbon Night, Wayne Seifert. Thanks, Wayne.
All right, let's see what we got. Well, would you want to do the honors?
Sure.
Go for it.
I always like getting the prize.
I know it.
All right, today's bottle is interesting. Best bottle or deal of the hunt.
This is the first time a challenge ball has not issued us a particular bottle to hunt. It's up to us, and up to you all, to decide if we succeed on this mission.
This is interesting. It's pretty subjective. I mean, I feel like we know we've been hunting for long enough now that we can look at a bottle and say, that's a really good price and not something you see very often, or
right.
This is something that you see a lot and this price is way too high. So I guess it
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily have to be the cheapest bottle, but just
Oh, deal, yeah.
the best deal. Again, subjective.
Now for another, potential monkey wrench in the mix, let's
Oh,
go
I
to
forgot about the
wheel of terms and conditions.
Terms and conditions wheel. Let's see what kind of extra challenge we've got going.
Ooh, five
stops or less.
We've had this one before, Sarah.
The Wheel of Terms and Conditions has issued us an added challenge of finding our perfect bottle by utilizing only 5 stores or less. Our time starts now.
Okay,
It's a good number of
I'm gonna
steps.
look at this as a positive.
Okay.
Instead of driving around all day beating ourselves up about are we picking the right thing,
Yeah, shopping for bourbon is so hard.
now we have it limited at least to 5
5
stops
stops.
or less. So I feel like this will actually kind of help us.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay, well here we go. Not the nicest day, but at least it's not raining, Sarah.
I mean, yeah, it's a typical day in April in Kentucky. It's cold and cloudy, but it's not raining.
We decided a certain vicinity in our town that we're gonna head to today.
Yeah, I think we ultimately want to end up down at Justin's House of Bourbon. It's something we've talked about before, but I don't think we've ever brought you guys down there with us on a hunt especially. So we want to end up there. So we're going to pick some shops in and around that region or downtown adjacent and hit those and end up there.
Here we go.
Our first stop was Ernie's, and right when we walk in, we notice their single barrel picks. This store is always good for some picks, and a nice, older Four Roses pick could win the challenge, but no such luck today, though they did have a nice 11-year Elijah Craig barrel proof and 9-year Russells, which is nothing to scoff at. Right behind the counter, we spot a couple of favorites of last year, the New Riff 8-year bourbon and rye. Those are contenders right there, but then we got distracted with the Four Roses single barrels. They had the OBSF and OESK, which, of course, are the two that we already have. But I know you all saw that Wild Turkey 12-year, which was $165. Pricey, yes, but this is a contender for sure. A 12-year 101 proof Wild Turkey that isn't sold in the States? This could win the day, but $165 isn't exactly a deal. And with this being our first stop of the day, I think we need to leave it for now and think about it. On to their bourbon aisle. Now, here's a bottle that we could use in our ongoing Weeded Flight Fight series. It's the Penelope Weeded Bourbon. We're picking this one up for $40. Alright, what is this? Crow? Like Old Crow, but it's 86 proof instead of 80? Hey, it's $12, so let's grab it too. Alright, let's look around and you can tell us if we left any contenders on the shelf.
First stop, Ernie's.
I love Ernie's. I always tell people to come to Ernie's whenever they visit Lexington.
Picked up 2 bottles there. Now these aren't really in the running for the best bottle of the hunt or best deal.
Yeah, just things that we needed for other pieces of content. The Penelope Weeded, which is actually a 4-grain, and there's different schools of thought on that, but our understanding is that just for it to be considered weeded, wheat has to be the secondary grain in the mash bill instead of the rye. Some people might believe that it has to replace the rye entirely. This one does have a 7% rye in it. What do you think? Tell us in the comments.
And then the Crow, or just Crow, but it was under $15.
Under $15, we got ours for $12.
Now, some people might be saying, hey, you guys, you passed up the bottle that you should have gotten for your mission, which was a 12-year Wild Turkey 101. Maybe we can always go back.
What do you think? Did we blow it?
Okay, before the next stop, we want to share a little secret weapon with you. When we come back from a hunt, we have a lot of bottles. Before we start sampling, we each make sure that we have some Zbiotics.
Yep, and that helps us make sure that we feel our best the next day so we can do even more filming.
Zbiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic.
It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking.
Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut.
It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day.
Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down.
Just remember to make Zbiotics your first drink of the night, drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow.
Click the link in the description below to get 15% off your first order.
Plus, Zbiotics offers a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked.
All right, now that you're prepared, on with the hunt.
The next stop was unscheduled because we were driving by it and just decided to stop in. It's Dee's Liquor Mart. It's a small store, but it had some decent options with some unfortunately expected prices, like $250 for Stag, $130 for Taylor Small Batch, and Blanton's. They were slightly higher on the normal shelfers as well. So, in other words, Dee's doesn't have Dee's deals. So that was Dee's. Honestly, we were driving to another store and we were passing it and we were both like, wait, is that new? So we decided to pull over and stop and go in and check it out. It turns out they've only been there for like a month. So we wanted to see what was what. Kind of the expected. You have a lot of Buffalo Trace stuff at more than you want to see it, but not the most that we have seen it. Like $80 for Eagle Rare, like it's not unheard of.
How many times have we seen it?
How many times have we seen it at that? I mean, it's pretty standard for like a lot of the shops around here, so I get where they're going in at that number. Nothing like super crazy, wild, gotta have it. Definitely not the best deals, but they're new, so maybe their selection will grow and improve. Definitely a spot we'll have to keep an eye on.
Yeah, but nothing here, so on to the next one. Now onto a store that we don't get out to very often, Leestown Road Spirits. Right off the bat, we see some more single barrel picks. This Elijah Craig barrel proof is lower in both age and proof. Could still be great, obviously, but let's see what we have here on this Russell's Reserve. Oh, just 8 years. Cam Nelson though. I'm sure it's good, but we're looking for a great bottle and for a deal. Okay, I'm in a glass case of emotions looking at their glass case of goodies. Look at all the pretties. But I'm not seeing a single price tag here, and we're not about to ask the price of every bottle. Thankfully, I spoke too soon, and here's a price sheet. It's not an alphabetical order though, which doesn't make my OCD happy, but prices are listed. No real deals though, so let's look for our winner on the regular shelves. Some decent bottles here for sure, but I'm not really seeing a deal that we can't walk away without. But hey, look at this old style bottle and label for this Knob Creek rye pick. That's cool. Here's the New Riff 8-year bourbon making another appearance, but for $99 this time. Great bottle, but not a deal.
Leestown Road Spirits. I haven't been in there in forever, like maybe 10 years. It's been a long time. A fun story about that place. It's where I bought my first big girl bourbon bottle, my first splurge, probably 2014 or 2015. I was in there shopping around and they had a 21-year Orphan Barrel Rhetoric for like $120. And at that point, that was like probably double what I had ever spent on anything like 10 years ago. Woo! And I decided to go ahead and get it, and I held on to it for a couple years because I was like, I'm saving this for a special occasion. So the day comes and I opened it and I did not like it. And that's kind of how I learned the start of my oak threshold journey.
Yeah, I was gonna say
where
oaky,
all that
right?
began. Yeah,
Right.
too oaky for me. So what
Yeah.
did we learn?
Well, the remodeling in there, by the way, it's sort of a, pardon our dust, pardon our mess type of thing, but it's going to look really nice in there.
Very different than how it used
but
to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably been a couple years since I've been in there too, Sarah. But one thing that I like about it that they had plainly posted there is they had the bottles behind glass, but then they had a list printed right there, so you don't have to be like, how much is the Weller Antique? How much is the this and then that? It's right there. They also had like a buy 3 get 10% discount.
Yeah, 10%
deal
off 3 bottles or more.
from that part specifically is as I understand it.
If you were in town
Not bad.
shopping for things that you can't normally find though, I mean, and you wanted to get a couple bottles from there, knowing that you get the 10% off if you buy 3 is kind of nice if that's what you're after.
Yeah, I would agree. Like if you have to have it and you don't want to spend all day, well, I mean,
All day hunting.
you
and
can spend all day hunting anyway, and
could.
you're not going to you're not going to pay shelf prices.
That's true.
Regardless, unless you just happen to luck out and they're unloading it at a big box store that doesn't mark it up. But anyway,
we didn't find anything.
No, hunt continues for the best bottle or deal of the day, getting close.
Manchester Liquor is another newer spot and one we hadn't been to yet. It's very close to the Lexington Distillery District and also right across the street from the Manchester Hotel, which has a couple of great bars and restaurants. They're able to pack a lot into this small store, including a couple of Calumet bottles we've never seen before, a 17-year at 117 proof and an 86 proof decanter, both part of their centennial releases. We're gonna pass, though. They had the Jack Daniel's Sinatra and this Franken whiskey, which they said is only sold at their store and the Hartfield & Company gift shop. Then they pointed out party horses. And no, it's not from an episode of BoJack Horseman. It's Neapolitan Bonaparte, an 8-year bourbon that came about from NFTs. Finally, they showed us the extra old edition from the Old Forester 117 series. It's 1910 that's double-barreled for 18 months, as opposed to the typical 7 to 8 months. We're picking this one up. We picked up the latest in the Old Forester 117 series. This is the extra old.
Extra old. Just how old, no one knows.
I hope it's extra good. It was around $75. So, best deal of the day for $3.75. I don't think any of us can say that.
No.
But, we have some of the other releases, so maybe we can do a little flight fight or something there.
Yeah.
But we still have Justin's House of Bourbon to stop at, not notoriously known for the deals. I don't know if we're gonna.
Good selection.
I don't know if this hunt is gonna be considered a success or not.
Well, Sarah, since they have a tasting bar,
we could find a deal at the tasting bar.
We could find a deal at the tasting bar. Boom.
Does that count? Is that
Saved.
cheating? I don't know. I think it counts.
Hey, we make the rules.
On our way to our last stop, we wanted to point out the Henry Clay Monument. That's where Henry Clay is buried in the Lexington Cemetery. And just to keep it tied to whiskey, he has a bourbon named after him.
One stop left. Will Justin's House of Bourbon deliver, or will we be heading back to pick up the Wild Turkey 12-year? Only time will tell, but we're off to a good start. Here's the Penelope Rio at retail. Some people go really wild for this bottle, but it's not exactly our flavor profile. Plus, we have a little left of the first batch. So if you don't know about Justin's, they have a lot of great single barrel picks. Most, if not all, that you can try at their bar for $5. Then if you buy a bottle, that $5 is taken off the price. They also have regular bottles along the wall here, and the rare and vintage bottles behind the glass. We'll always look at the beautiful vintage bottles when we come in, because how can you not? But we know we're not finding anything in here that will win our challenge. But wait, there's a vintage version of the Crow that we bought today. Different distillery back then, and our version isn't a light whiskey, but still, pretty cool. All right, back to the regular bottles. We've got some Angel's Envy cast strength, but it's a little more than we're willing to spend today. Oh, here's a 4-gate Kelvin collaboration, and it's less than what we bought our bottle for last year. Larceny barrel proof for the best price we've seen today. Before I mentioned that Justin's isn't really known for its prices, but I feel like this trip is kind of disproving that. Different versions of Blackwood. We're gonna grab the Rio after all because one of our friends wants a bottle. We're nice that way. Oh, what do we have here? The New Riff 8-year bourbon and rye that has been following us around today, and it happens to be for the best price we've seen at $69.99. Retail is $68, and it did really well for us in our blind best of the year tasting. So did we just find our winner? I don't know, but let's talk it over as we get a drink at their tasting bar. But what to get? You can't go wrong with turkey. And between an 8-year 101 from the 80s and a 12-year 101 split label from 98, both for $25, we decided on the 12-year this time because of our run-in with the modern-day 12-year earlier. It was fantastic, as expected. And now for something completely different, a hazmat single barrel pick of rare character from Bluegrass Barrel Pickers. It's a 9-year, 3-month Kentucky bourbon at 143.14 proof that was so full and rich. Just remember to end on the hazmat. Don't start with it.
Well, that's it. 5 stops, 5 stores.
I don't know if this one was a success. I don't know if you could count this challenge as successful.
I think so.
Well, because I do like that we were able to find the New Riff 8-year bourbon for basically retail here at Justin's.
Mm-hmm.
We did see it for like 90-something, 90-ish at a few other stores.
We'll have to check the tape.
Roll the footage. So I consider that a win. Like, we didn't spend that extra money on it. We were able to get it for retail here. That's good. However, is retail a deal?
Well, if it's something that's harder to find, and when you do find it, it is above retail. I think that's when retail becomes a deal.
A deal. Okay, you guys will have to let us know down in the comments what you think about that. But since we were like, is this a deal? Is it not? Will this be satisfactory for the episode? We then went to their tasting bar at the very end for a plot twist to see if we could find anything of value. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean cheap.
Right. Yeah, 1998,
12-year
12-year split label Wild Turkey 101 for $25 for a pour. Now, a pour for this was half an ounce.
But we shared it. It
Yeah.
went a long way, to be honest.
It did. And then just for good measure, we got the rare character single barrel. It was a hazmat, 143.1. Completely different ballpark, also $25. But there's your yin and yang, right? I mean, totally different things. In that situation, I think I'm personally always going to go more towards the vintage, the dusty, something that you just can't get on the shelf anymore. Not that you could get that pick anymore. There was only like 48 bottles of it available in the world. But two different things, right?
That's true. But I guess we'll head back now. We've been down here for a while after we visited the tasting bar. There's some cute little shops and things on Jefferson Street, so we took a little stroll. After our pours, we got a little snack at a great little sandwich shop called Stella's. Moseyed around the area, enjoyed the afternoon, and now we're gonna head back to the studio.
All right, back here at home base with what we're calling our winner of this challenge, the New Riff 8-year.
I think it's our winner.
I think so.
I feel like you guys will tell us in the comments. I think the reason that it's our winner is, one, if you watched our best of 2024, you know that it did perform very well in our ranking. Blind. And again, for a bottle that's under $100. Now, we did see it at a couple of stops for over $90, almost $100, but we ended up finding it at Justin's House of Bourbon for $69.99. MSRP is $68, so considering that we saved $20+ by just getting it there versus the first places we saw it, I think that's a win.
I think it is.
For an 8-year product that did so well in our...
Again, as we said in the car, I feel like some people can make an argument on that Wild Turkey 12-year, just because it's currently not sold in U.S. It's only overseas. But I think the price, especially when people are like, when I'm in Japan, I pick it up for $50 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're talking about the New Riff 8-year. This is a fresh crack, fresh pour. We had a bottle, but it's like pretty much gone now, so
whoopsies. If that tells you anything about how we feel.
Good to have another one. Congratulations on a successful... I mean, how can we fail this one?
I think they'll determine if it's successful or not.
Come on, it's successful.
It's a pass.
Guys.
It's a pass.
It's us. You know us. It's us.
It's us.
It's us.
Please don't fail me on this.
Come on. Well, I do the graphics, and I already said it.
Okay, great. It's been decided. The powers that be have spoken.
That's a
love
good
that
nose. That is... My nose says that's more than 8 years.
Such a solid product. Gosh, that has a lot of oak on it for 8 years.
I feel better now having just tasted it with declaring victory.
Declaring victory?
Yeah.
Yeah. Solid mouthfeel, great finish. Pretty, I wouldn't say intense oak, but it's definitely there. Sometimes with an 8-year product, you don't get this much oak. And I think this is giving more like 10, 12-year levels of oak. It's definitely giving extra oak for 8 years.
10 and 12, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that has to do, with the 100 proof. I don't know.
It's good, guys.
It's good. I just love to see what they're doing up there. I think they're great. If you have a chance to visit New Riff, go up to the tasting bar. It's really nice.
And now they're doing 6-year single barrel picks, which I think we might, need to get on that.
Hold up.
Yeah, hold up. Hey, drink bourbon every day.
Did you all have that one on your bingo card for this time?
It's been a while since I've done
It's
that.
been a while since you've done that one.
Dust off those bingo cards. Yeah, I would say this is a success. If nothing else, we got a hell of a value of a great bourbon.
And we didn't have to drive to the distillery, which we thought we were going to have to do in order to get the bottle.
Well, originally that's what we did do to get the bottle for last year.
Right, but if we wanted another bottle to replace the one that's almost empty, I thought we were going to have to go to the distillery.
Right, it's not sticking around in big box stores. You go to smaller stores, you do see it around. But
again, $90+.
Exactly.
And we were able to find it for $69.99, only just barely over MSRP.
But we want to know what you guys think. Tell us down below in the comments if this was a win or not, what you would have picked up as your bottle.
Did we blow it on the Wild Turkey 12?
But hey,
Tell us.
having that the 12-year from 1998 at Justin's for 25 bucks for a pour. I feel like I would rather
Double win.
spend that for 25 than 155 to have a bottle of modern day 12 year. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, that's a once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah, let us know down below. But that's where we'll leave it. Hey, if you haven't subscribed to us already, you can do so by clicking right up here. There's suggestions of other videos down here. Hope to see you over there in one of those. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Chad.
Okay, until next time, hunt more bourbon.